morning and welcome back to the APTA Grand Prix Series. This is the Dwayne Hayden Long Island Invitational, sponsored by the APTA national sponsors, Viking, Fusion, Upswing Health, and MI Paddle, and local sponsors, D'Addario, Signature Premier Properties, Cherry Lane Printing and Mailing, Shoreline Beverages. We're live from Huntington Country Club on the APTA Network, presented by ProFlight Live. I'm Mark Fischel, along with Mark Innes, bringing you this quarterfinal matchup between the number 2 seeds, John Hughes and Mark Powers, playing against Nathan Lefevre and Chris Humphreys. Mark, welcome to the booth.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.
This looks like a really fun matchup. We're hoping to bring you this match as well as the Araya Parsons Bostrom Broderick match. Let's talk about these guys on the court right now.
There's someone on that court too.
They just dribbling the ball in the top of the screen with the yellow hat is Chris Humphreys. And walking towards us in the light blue jacket is John Hughes. And then Chris's partner is Nathan Lefevre. He's got the black hat, and in the shorts is Mark Powers. So Mark, you want to talk a little bit about our players?
Absolutely. So we have Chris Humphreys. He used to teach with Nathan out in Bronxville, New York. He's now running the paddle program at Pound Ridge in New York. He's a great talent. He has a good season so far. Everyone's he's one of the definitely the players on the rise. Such an explosive lefty. He's got a lot of weapons, a lot of great upside to his game. And his partner Nathan Lefevre has been around for a long time. Such a crafty player. He knows the game well. He knows how to make his opponents uncomfortable.
Love.
He's definitely going to be fun to watch today. And their opponents need no real introduction. We have the 2018 national champions Mark Powers and John Hughes, both non-teaching pros, which is usually a little bit rare on the pro tour. But they never miss a beat. We're going to have two lefty matchups, which is going to be exciting, Mark.
It should be a fun match. Hughes and Powers have not played well so far this year. They've struggled like a lot of people without a lot of time on court. I know Hughes has been very busy work.
That generally seems to be the beginning of the season. As they're getting into it, they start off a little slower and then they find their groove. I don't think it's anything new for them. They know when to peak. They know how to make it work. All that good stuff.
That's a clever play from Nathan Lefevre.
You're going to see a lot of that from Nathan. He's so good at holding that drop volley. He makes his opponents come forward a lot. He can drop it short. He can go far behind you. He can redirect it. It's really one of his big weapons at the net.
It's interesting with the two lefties, Mark, because you can see them playing a lot of balls to each other.
I think in general this might be a good matchup for Lefevre and Humphreys, because Chris definitely has the more offensive overheads. So him lining up to hit to John Hughes could be a good thing for them.
30-40.
Okay, an early break opportunity. Good moves there from Hughes as he darts over the sidewire and takes the ball early.
Nathan definitely has to tell Chris about that one that John loves. I can't see them giving him too many more of those today, because it's just something that he anticipates so well. As soon as he sees his opponent lining up for it, he just pounces on it, and that's where he's going to make you pay. You really have to make John beat you with that drive off the deck. That's where you just don't want to give him that hard ball to the side screen.
Love 15. Love 30.
You know, one of the many things Hughes and Powers do exceptionally well is they both
15,
serve so well.
30.
Hard serves to attack.
Absolutely. John to that deuce court, he can hit that nick pretty consistently when he's hitting it hard. And, you know, as you know, the lefty serves so hard to drive off the deck, especially when it's being hit at that pace to the deuce court. He can get some free points that way for sure.
The spin on John's overhead at stirrup was one of the things really kind of jumped them up from a
30
good
all.
team to a great team.
Absolutely.
That was a little bit of the kryptonite that affected Jared Palmer the year they won nationals. And there you see the spin just jumping off the back wire.
Oh! 40, 30.
Now, John Hughes is a really nice guy, but there he lies about the let cord with the apology.
The old formality.
Yeah, there may not be a nicer guy on the tour than John Hughes.
Has Chris, do you think Chris has played against many lefties?
Yeah, I think he's played against a few. But clearly the Hughes spin is probably he and Broderick probably have the most spin of any left-handers on tour.
First deuce.
Hughes misses the volley there. That was a surprising miss.
I think they're just getting settled in the match. You sort of get into your groove as you get a couple games in.
Now, how do you feel the abbreviated format impacts your ability to kind of settle into the match?
I think it doesn't allow you to really settle in, so you're definitely limited with how many errors you can give up. And that's, you know, it's going to be an exciting format because you can see a lot of upsets where generally you might not have seen those happen. Here you give one or two of those loose errors away and all of a sudden you're down and you've lost.
Great play from LaFever.
Great play by Nathan.
Yeah,
that's what he does so much of. He comes in, he makes you uncomfortable. You just never have a good, easy rhythm against Nathan.
And normally you have to win 2 sets to win a match, but in this format it's really 1 set and a breaker, and anybody can win a tiebreaker.
Absolutely.
In this COVID-19 era, the APTA is just looking for ways to safely put on matches.
Second deuce.
Well, that's a tough miss there from Humphreys. Okay, this is a no-ad point. Winner of this point will win the game. Those are the type of misses that'll cost you matches. As
Game.
Hughes reciprocates
Humphreys,
with the fault.
LaFever. Games are tied 1-all.
There's definitely different kinds of pressure now, right? When you have to serve under those sort of moments. Now it's all a little bit different when the game's fewer errors to win.
And the shorter the match, the more it evens the playing field.
Absolutely, that's where I say we could see some interesting upsets today. It's awesome. It's a Christmas miracle we get in this tournament, and I'm excited.
Oh, great exchange at the net. Oh, Powers read that one beautifully and just misses the backhand.
15.
Great leave there by Nathan. That is tough to leave under pressure.
Again, you see the lefties kind of playing against each other.
I love that low contact overhead, Chris. Just setting up his big spin.
Mark, talk a little bit about how the
30
weather impacts
love.
the play. You know, cold weather versus warm weather paddle. Today's really our first cold weather tournament of the season. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely, that ball becomes a lot heavier when it's cold like this, Mark. So it becomes easier to win the point with those drop shots. The ball does not bounce as much. those spin overheads can be a little more effective as they stay low. So there you see another drop shot
40
winner, right? So
love.
when that weather's warm, you're not going to see as many of those. But now with that cold weather, it becomes a real weapon. So this weather favors Nathan's style of game a lot with how he's chopping across the nets, drop volleys,
Game.
all that kind of
Humphreys,
stuff. So you have to be careful with what drives you throw at
They
them.
lead
That
2 games to
softer
1.
sort of probing drive, they're gonna make you pay
What's your
today
last
with this
name,
cold
Michael?
weather. In warmer
Lefebvre.
weather, it
No problem.
doesn't do it as
Anything?
much because they can miss a couple volleys today. You're gonna have to really, if you're gonna drive it, you're gonna have to hit it.
Now, Lefebvre's been close to the top of the game for a while. Why do you suppose that he hasn't had that breakthrough?
You know, his kind of game, I think you really need the right partner, and you need an explosive partner. He's more someone that can pick off things and be a real weapon, but he needs that explosiveness like you see with a Chris. Chris has a big game, and then Nathan can use his quickness and his elusiveness to really hurt you and be an asset. But I don't think his style of game sort of works if he has to be the main player.
Oh, what a volley from oh.
15
Bailing out with
love.
2 hands.
$15 all. $30-15.
Yeah, I also
volley.
feel that the cold weather really helps the serve a lot. Keeps the ball down a little bit. And you know, in the warm weather, it's very hard to hold serve. In the cold weather, it's much easier.
Absolutely.
40-30.
Okay, so it's 40-30.
Game, Hughes, Powers.
Cold weather also definitely helps
Games are
those lead
tied
courts, Mark.
2-all.
Yeah. There's that amazing volley.
Wow. So good.
Love.
I like that though.
15.
He's been winning the point with that drop volley. He just didn't execute that time.
After this game, we're going to switch over to the Araya Parsons Bostrom Broderick match. Oh boy, that's dangerous right there.
Just can't give him pace when it's high.
That's the ball he just feasts on.
He does make you feel like that space is open though. He's so good at luring that ball in.
Love 30.
Powers missed the lob there.
15-30. 30 all.
Early misses from Powers. You don't see too much of that.
Yeah, with this tournament format, especially, you know, the smaller draws, you don't really have those somewhat easier matches to play yourself in. You know, you're pretty
30,
into
40.
some tough matches right away. I think that's a bit of an adjustment for a lot of the top players.
30-40. these are the points who determines who wins and loses paddle matches.
Absolutely.
Just closing games out, especially in the format we're using today. Just you got to play these points. You just got to do what you do really well.
That is well said, Mark. These are the times you really want to just double down on your strengths and not try something that you haven't tried before. I think that's so easy to get suckered into doing.
That's what separates the best teams from the next tier.
Absolutely.
And then Nathan gets suckered in a little bit. He survives with the volley.
He survived, yet he doesn't want to have to do that consistently.
Yeah, that's a tough overhead for Humphries to come back to Powers with because he's so far off the net.
Hughes Powers
Absolutely.
leads 3 games to 2.
That's the ball you definitely want John's forehand to have to beat you with. Powers' forehand, he moves so well, he hits it so hard. Rather make John beat you off the deck there.
Yeah, the way the guys tend to play John Hughes is they like to go soft to him and make him generate his own power, something he doesn't do particularly well. Mark Powers has no issues generating power. That snap forehand is Durant-esque.
Absolutely, and that's, you know, that's the can you be disciplined, can you execute a shot and actually put it to where you want it to your game plan. It's the same thing if people play against me, my forehand off the deck is just not strong, so if they ever give it hard off the screens, it's just a bad move on their part.
15.
And that's an interesting thing in paddle as well. Everyone knows people's strengths and weaknesses to a big degree, right, Mark? It's not like it's a big secret. It's just who can be disciplined and who can execute.
Love
That'll let
30.
Ford there from Lefevre, and they could take him to love 30. Just a beautiful setup at the Huntington Country Club. The 5 courts down in the hollow.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And we'll have nationals there in 2022. Hopefully.
That's awesome. And such a great crew out there in Long Island. They're real passionate supporters.
The 4th time they've hosted nationals. You played with some lefties in your career, Mark. Do you think that Humphries is hitting more of the overheads because they want to find John Hughes more often, or you think they're just playing with the flow of the lobs?
I think they definitely, it's because they're trying to find John Hughes more.
15-30.
I actually played Nathan and Chris at the Atlantic Classic in first round. We were playing with Mick, and so generally they were trying to find me more. Mick Erdoya, correct? So generally they were trying to find me more because Mick is so strong offensively. So Nathan was taking quite a few of the overheads, and then whenever we did switch in the backcourt, then and I was in the deuce court, Chris definitely took a few more. So it's definitely because they're trying to find John. That's a great thing for. Oh, what a point!
Well, the faults this game from the normally reliable Hughes serve. And I see that Araya Parsons have started on the next court, so
Humphries,
we're going to switch over to that match there and leave this one at 3-all in the first set.
All righty, let's do it.
Okay, so on the bottom of the screen in the blue is Juan Araya and his partner Mark Parsons. In the
there's a point to start off with.
Yeah, pink. And that's Martin Bostrom serving, and Drew Broderick and his partner Drew Broderick in the green sweatshirt. They played together a couple of tournaments, some of the Pro Flight Paddle Tour events. They're very comfortable together.
Yeah, they had a great match at Pro Flight Paddle against Durant and Powers, and it went to the Pro Flight Breaker, and it was 15-14 in that third set Pro Flight Breaker. It was an incredible match. Martin really is playing the best I've seen him play in all the years.
Yeah, Bostrom has really worked hard at eliminating the mental errors from his game. His highs have always been as high as anybody's. Problem is he's had too many lows, too many misses.
Absolutely. And who better of a partner than Drew Broderick to sort of also bring that out of you?
I'll be interested to see who plays the deuce and who plays the ad, because
First
in
point.
that match that you talked about, the Pro Flight Live match, they
15
started off
love.
with Broderick in the backhand, and then he switched to the forehand. I think that was the key to the match.
That was the key to that match, absolutely. I would think in this one, Broderick would still play the ad, because traditionally he's had quite a lot of success playing against Juan, so I don't feel like he's too worried by the overheads. Whereas that other match at Pro Flight, they weren't able to make Mark or
15 all.
Johan uncomfortable.
No, Araya has switched paddles from the last tournament.
I'm sorry. My
And is
bad.
feeling
Thanks,
really
guys.
confident with his overhead, playing really well in practice, putting a lot of balls away. So looking forward to seeing what that's going to look like.
Do you know if he prefers playing in colder weather or warm weather, Mark?
I think he's able to spin the ball a little bit more in the cold weather, but Juan just loves to play. This is the first game of the match. We'll get you a score as soon as we can. There's that Broderick backhand.
There's 3 of the best backhands in the game out here on the court right now. This is going to be fantastic.
Big one from Bostrom. And there's what we were talking about. That was a huge shot. Araya just feels really confident with that new paddle and is really spinning the ball. So I
What paddles do you play?
I think he's playing the M1 now. Went from the M2 to the M1.
Wow, he
Backhand
was not
missing.
even that close there. That was very confident. I love it.
Okay, so first game to Bostrom Broderick. Raya Parsons were the 2019 national champions in Pittsburgh. Big win over Hughes Powers in the finals, 7-5 in the third.
That was an incredible tournament by them. It's so good to see the passion that they played with and the excitement they had to win. It was fantastic.
There's Araya serving.
I'm interested to see his transition game. I think he's played quite a lot of pickleball lately, and I have no doubt that it's helping that transition game, Mark.
He's probably, along with Durant, I would say the best in the country at that.
Absolutely.
Great blitz from Broderick, and they go up 30 love.
$15 all.
You hear Broderick calling out help to his partner in case the ball's going to hit the nick. Bostrom with the lead cord winner takes us to love 40.
30.
That
I'm
middle
sorry,
of
my
the
bad.
court is just
I'm
so
just looking in
dangerous right now. Two backhands, very successful backhands right there. That's going to be tough.
Oh, what a pickup from Broderick. Nobody steals more points than Drew Broderick. His ability to just stay and play when he's out of position and just puts his hands down and comes up with shots like that.
He's a master of defense, that is for sure.
Won his first national championship here at the Huntington Country Club.
Who was that with, Mark?
Chris Gambino, 2012, over Durant Porter. Oh, there's another amazing cut winner for Araya.
15-40.
Battle.
Incredible.
And there's Araya playing a little too fast.
Game.
They go up 2 love.
Bostrom, Broderick, they lead 2 games to love.
Drew Broderick to serve.
Oh,
Love
great return.
15.
Whenever Broderick doesn't put the ball in play, you're surprised.
Yeah, exactly. You heard that.
Going I formation against Parsons.
I'm interested to see what they choose to do at the net here.
Big forehand from
15
Parsons there,
all.
but ill-advised blitz to the net. Ball came off the back wire too far. There's Araya switching at the net to get his overhead in the middle. What we saw in the last play was interesting, Mark, because I think one of the real changes in the game now is the players are willing to give up the middle of the court a little bit more, knowing the ball's going to come off the back wire and they're going to be able to drive it in transition.
Absolutely. That transition game, and as you said, Johan, Juan, they've just become so good at it. Florentina actually,
30-15.
she forces that transition on purpose. I think the more players play and get comfortable at it, they're going to really start to use it as plays and ways to pick up quick points. Because if you're not comfortable, you'll get caught out in transition. That as you know, that first volley in transition is just the toughest. So the more you can make someone have to do that, the better for you.
Oscar Broderick looked very sharp early.
There you saw Drew chose to stay back instead of trying to force that volley.
Thirty
You could feel
all.
like Araya had him under pressure there, and Bostrom was just didn't look comfortable, which is surprising.
Yeah, he just keeps pulling that trigger on the overheads and makes you make some silly decisions. It's one of his major strengths.
Great
30,
rip there from
40.
Araya. That ball just came off too hot.
First deuce.
Missed backhand from Parsons.
Great swing though, that's his shot, so he's got to keep going for it.
Ryan misses the lob.
Add in.
Missing some relatively easy balls in big moments right here. Point for 3 love. Oh, what a volley from Broderick. Back-to-back missed
Game.
lobs from Araya.
Bostrom.
That is not a
Broderick,
winning strategy.
They lead
Winning
3
recipe.
games to love.
Taking a look
Oh,
back
let's see
over.
the score over here. Do we have any idea what's been happening in this match, Mark?
Nope, don't have a score here. And at the top left of your screen, you see Mikko Doy and Sven Burris playing against Lupaver Pritsenko, which is a rematch of a tremendous match they had at Darien.
They had a real battle.
Yeah, let
Love
it set 4-1
15.
before letting it get away.
They had a real battle, and Anton and Max are really playing some tough paddle right now, so that's going to be a good one.
Love 30.
Boy, Araya Parsons just making a lot of mistakes early.
Love 40.
Wow. That was a strange shot there from Parsons.
They are the type of team, though, that once they settle and click, it's hard to stop them. So, you know, you can never be too comfortable against them. You know they're going to give you errors, but they're also going to win a lot of points. So you can just never let your guard down.
That's something you don't see a lot out of Broderick. He likes that high ball. You don't see him blitzing like that so much.
I think he's feeling pretty confident with Martin in that deuce court over there. It's definitely going to boost his confidence. Martin seems to be moving so well, and as always, he hits it so clean. What a shot!
They only lost a handful of points in the first 3+ games. Well, he goes for the cut winner, and it's 4-love very quickly.
Bostrom, Broderick, they lead 4 games to love.
You know, and on paper, you can look at that play and say it's not a good one because of he missed and maybe the timing as well. But you know Juan relatively well, Mark. Does he, to get his confidence, does he have to go for some of those shots?
Yeah, it's just Juan's going to hit his shots, whether it's 1-all in the first or 5-all in the third. He can hit his shots.
Would you say it's a good or a bad thing?
It's a Juan thing.
I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's got its pluses and minuses.
Absolutely.
They're just getting
30
rolled right now.
love.
Martin is just looking so clean and moving so well in that deuce court.
Bostrom hits such a heavy ball.
Oh, you hear the thud. And that's a new element that Drew would have playing with him, with Martin, is that middle is very dangerous now. When, you know, traditionally when he played with Jared Palmer, he really had to run around his backhand to hit the offensive drive. Now Martin can just drive from both wings.
In my mind, this is a team that could win nationals.
There's no doubt about that.
30-15.
I think they figure out a couple little kinks and get comfortable with one another. They're definitely contenders.
We'll see how things evolve. Martin's normal partner Blake Anderson has been hurt of late. Another miss from Parsons. You can see he was in between there. Was thinking about spiking it and then decided to lob it a little bit too late. Points for 5-love.
40-30.
Oscar Broderick content to just dump the ball in the middle. Ryan's letting a lot of balls get to the wire. There he steps over.
Oh, way to hold it. Another great get.
Oh, what a pickup from Parsons.
This is...
Oh, and then he misses.
Oh.
Game, Bostrom, Broderick. They lead 5 games to none.
That would have been a great point for them to win. They would have really got some momentum out of that because they were scrambling over there that whole point. They did amazing to survive.
Okay, 5-love. Oscar and Broderick. They look very good early, but as we know, these matches can turn very quickly.
That is paddle. Any obvious changes that you're seeing besides just regular not playing a lot mistakes, Mark?
No, a lot of misses from Parsons, a couple lob errors from Mariah. You know, there's so little that separates winning and losing at this level.
Love 15.
I think that's the tricky part about this year. You know, a lot of times you're not getting that as many opportunities to play these types of matches.
30.
So you're not as sharp as you generally would be.
2 points from the set. Broderick there off the nick. Does that about as well as anybody in the game.
Absolutely.
Backhand for Bostrom.
Love 40.
I don't expect to see Araya diving for any balls in this love 40, love 5 point mark.
15,
Yeah,
40.
he would have had to dive to hit that one.
Yeah. Set point number 2.
There's that transition. Wow.
30,
See how he holds
40.
it as if he's going to lob. And he's recognizes that space. Martin's off the net, puts it at his toes, and makes his move. He's so good at that.
Help me.
'Center. That's a ball Bostrom would have driven a couple of years ago. A lot of discipline there.
I was about to say, that's a lot of patience from him.
First deuce.
Okay, 3 set points saved. This will be a big game for Ryan Parsons to hold, even if they don't win the set, just to get back in the flow.
Absolutely, just, you know, see a little chink in the armor, get you a bit of confidence. That's a great lesson for club players as well. Even, you know, 5 love down, just that one game, whether you win or lose the set, it makes a
And
huge difference.
in.
Slob there from Bostrom. I think this is only the second game point for Araya Parsons. And
Game,
Broderick misses another forehand
Araya
return.
Parsons.
And they're on the board.
Broderick Bostrom lead 5 games to 1.
Interested to see how this game plays out now. Another big one. Doesn't seem so at 5-1, but just for momentum, team morale, it's a big game.
Yeah, it's especially interesting because, as we talked about earlier, in the abbreviated format, you just need to win a set and a breaker. And I wouldn't have been surprised if Araya Parsons kind of semi-tanked the last game.
Yeah.
Instead, they're in there
And just
competing.
focus on the next set,
love.
absolutely. But I'm glad they're trying to get the momentum here.
Oh, an amazing volley from Broderick.
Smart play. Lobs gives his partner time to come back.
Oh, great.
Wow.
30,
There.
love.
Broderick's playing really aggressively today, Mark. Much more so than normal, I would say.
Yeah, a lot with his movement, right? Which is a good thing to see because that's very much within his skill set. He's not trying to hit through them, but when he's seeing
30,
the space
15.
of the players off the net, he's trying to take advantage of them.
Also playing shorter in the court than he normally does. I had one criticism of Drew's game, I would say he plays too deep in the court at times.
One of Martin's big teaching philosophies is about stealing time from your opponents, taking their
40,
time
15.
away. So maybe that is something that is rubbed off on Drew.
Set points number 4 and 5 if needed. Another missed lob from Araya. That ball was...
There was some anger in that swing.
Yeah, some anger in that swing, no question.
Being very disciplined to keep it away from one's forehand and Mark's backhand.
Norris Lefevre up 3-love. First set, Hughes Humphreys up 5-4. And there's the one that he
40,
lobbed
30.
before, and I thought he was in better position to drive the previous one than that one. You can see his feet weren't quite set to drive that ball.
He is a little off balance, yeah. I still think that's very makeable for him, though.
Point number 5, great ball. Yeah, but for Bostrom, it's never been about makeable to me.
40
It's
all.
about decision
First
making
deuce.
because there's not a lot of balls Martin can't make. It's the balls that he should hit versus the balls that he shouldn't on a percentage basis.
Absolutely. I had this
Add out.
conversation with Drew about what made Jared so good, and he said he felt like Jared just didn't swing at the obvious shot. Like that ball's, you know, it's obviously one that Martin could drive, but holding that ball, not taking that obvious drive or offensive shot, that's what he felt made him so good.
Oh, great blitz from
Great
Araya.
move.
Game,
5
Araya
set points
Parsons.
they've saved, and it's 5-2.
Bostrom,
Things are
Roderick
tightening
lead
up a little
5
bit here, aren't they,
games
Mark?
to 2.
All of a sudden, we got a little momentum creeping back.
And this is
But we
just
never.
Araya at his
This is
finest.
something you just don't doubt of Mark and Juan. If you know they get 1 or 2 big points, they get a little bit of confidence back, then it's hard to play them. That's why you have to be so disciplined about you know, closing them out. You remember that 40 love point, Drew's return hit the back fence. Obviously, it's not something he's trying to do, but to me, that's a mental error.
Okay, first set to Hughes Powers, 6-4. Parsons all of a sudden seems to have found his footing too. So that was not a good overhead. Oh, Araya with a crazy shot. Don't
Love
describe that one for me,
15.
Mark, because I'm not quite sure what he was looking to do there.
I didn't quite have the adjective, but I think he was just trying to cut it off. He probably cut it a little too close to that line, but you know, he's good at doing what he does with poaching. There's the switch at net. Put Araya's overheads on the left.
Love.
Great get. Martin's moving Bostrom's moving so well.
And he's really got himself in good shape. He's worked hard at it. I think he's gotten a little frustrated being the second best player in the family, quite frankly.
15 all.
That's driving him to the gym.
There's the modern game, right? Stay back, take the ball off the deck, drive it, and then come in.
It's that battle to see who's going to win the net, right? And no one's risking everything to get it. That's, to me, that's the way I describe it to a lot of club players. Is you're just not risking it all for the net. You're still trying to get the net, but you do it through transition. You do it through different formations. There's other ways to get there, and if you don't get there, you play from the baseline. It's not the end of the world. Wow.
And in a day like today, oh, what a get. A day like today, the net is worth a lot more because of the temperature and how
Yes.
heavy the ball is.
But even then, Martin hits that ball so heavy, right? Good spot there by Broderick. Parsons with a good volley.
See both Araya Parsons looking for the Knicks.
And they find them more than anyone. It's not quite the point ender that it used to be, but it definitely makes a difference.
And again, the weather impacts it. The warmer days, that ball really jumps out of the corner.
Oh!
Araya Parsons switch immediately back to their preferred sides in the backcourt.
This team generally doesn't linger in sides that they're not that they don't start off playing. They switch pretty quickly. A lot of teams will hold a little bit, give a little bit of a different look, but they tend to switch back pretty quickly. Wow. Way to take advantage of that soft drive. Broderick really closed, volleyed behind Parsons. It was a great move.
Fault from Parsons, and this will be set points 6 and 7 if necessary. Yeah, bad miss from Parsons, and that's game in first set. Bostrom Broderick, 6 games to 2.
I like that Orion Parsons didn't go away, though. They got a bit of momentum, so the second set's actually going to be interesting now. If it was a 6-love set, might not have been quite the same.
Viking, sure other companies make platform tennis balls. Viking makes the #1 ball in the game. The player's clear choice, the Viking ball. Extra duty advanced locking process promotes proven, longer wear and provides the perfect mixture for maximum ball spin and control. High-end proprietary rubber compound allows for the softest feel and most consistent bounce. The official ball of the National Championships and the official ball of the APTA Grand Prix Series. So Mark, what do you think they have to do to turn this thing around?
I think it's those little errors that you mentioned, Mark. You know, the couple lobs wide, those 1 or 2 shots in transition that we saw Parsons miss now. If they can just be a little more disciplined with those, I don't see why it wouldn't be a closer match. There's nothing majorly strategic that they need to do different. There's those small errors, if they can sharpen up, then we have a close game. You saw those 2 games that they did win. It wasn't anything majorly different. They just didn't give as many errors. And that's, you know, as you always say, at this level, it's those small errors that are going to make the difference. So if they can buckle down, and you know, they know they're going to miss, but if they want to miss, it should be on their terms. There should be shots that they feel are going to give them a good shot at getting momentum or getting the point, instead of, you know, a missed lob or a missed ball in transition. Those are momentum killers, is what I like to say. There's certain shots that you miss that just deflate you and your partner.
Here's a quick peek at the Humphreys-Lefevre match. Hughes Powers won the first set.
Do you know the score of that set, Mark?
Nope, they just started the second set early. Burris and Erdoyer up 3-2 first set over Paver-Purtsenko. So Bostrom to serve to start set number 2.
All right, let's go. I hope everyone at home is settling in front of their computer or TV. Have a nice little Saturday morning beverage and get rolling.
Are you kidding?
Love
a missed volley by Drew Broderick. Make note of that, Mark, because I haven't seen that in about 3 years.
You heard how disgusted he was.
Yeah, that was a relatively routine to do. Oh, this is a fun point. A lot of touchy-feely shots.
And you saw Juan hanging up there, just waiting to see if someone popped it up. Once he felt the momentum didn't go his way, he went back to the baseline. Smart transition play.
You don't hear those adjectives describing Oria's play.
I'm just trying to get invited back to the commentating.
Those first couple games after you've lost a set are so important.
Absolutely.
Oria with a little bit
15 all.
Very aggressive, that blitz.
Yeah, and I don't mind the move. I think Arai just has to leave that ball for his partner if it's a tough one. Easier said than done, but, you know, Broderick did a great job of calling and letting Bostrom know that Arai was coming in. And so Bostrom hit that overhead a bit harder. If you can leave it for your partner, then no harm, no foul.
really
30
working
all.
Bostrom over there.
Yeah, it was a great series of overheads by Araya. Just makes you feel that little bit uncomfortable when you go to block. If you're squeezing your paddle too tight, you miss. It's those sort of small margins. Wow, great volley by Bostrom. I think his volleys have improved quite a lot, Mark.
Yep, I agree. Kind of a dead-handed volleyer. Oh, great shot from Araya.
And I like that leave by Bostrom a lot. It was going to be a tough ball to volley, so he just lets it go and goes back. Oh, there's the one that Broderick loves.
40-30.
But that's just a cardinal error from Araya. You know that's the ball that Broderick's looking for constantly. You cannot hit the ball there.
I have noticed this though, that he's generally not bringing it out that often in the first set. I think he's intentionally waiting to hold it for bigger moments. He's
Broderick,
he's not
Bostrom,
jumping on it every
They
time.
lead
So I
one
think
game
he sort of
to love.
and you at this stage of the game, Araya should for sure know that you shouldn't do it, but it's I think he makes you forget about it because he doesn't just jump on it every time. He's holding it for bigger points.
There's that great point they had with all the touchy-feely shots. Kaylor and Rams up 2-1 over Grant Mitchell first set. Araya to serve. They kind of let that game get away. Made a couple of mistakes there that you wouldn't expect from them. And this thing can get away from them really fast if
15.
they're not careful.
And this is what you were talking about. How do you start that second set after you've just lost one? It's such a big moment. Great spot.
Love
Yeah, Broderick is just so precise with that backhand.
That's a great lesson for club players to take away. Not even so much about the spot, but just how he used the middle. He didn't try to go around the player. He went just straight through them, trying to force an error. Smart. It's a disciplined Bostrom that we're seeing, that's for sure.
There you saw Broderick darting to his side wire, looking for that ball.
Absolutely.
Huge backhand from Bostrom. Such a hard shot to read. His forehand, you have a much better feel for where it's headed. Backhand, not so much, as he misses that one.
15-30.
Well, I think this is a really important hold for Araya Parsons.
30 all.
That's a mental error to me. It didn't look like Drew was set up. It didn't look like he knew what was, what he was thinking about doing on that return. Those are small mental errors that can just creep into returns.
It's a great comment. And a ball he's really not swinging at, he's not going to win any points on.
Absolutely.
You don't mind missing them when you're taking a big cut, you're trying to win a point. Here again, you see Bostrom showing that newfound discipline.
He's holding it well as well, which I really like. He's not making you know if he's going to lob or drive it. It's a good disguise. Great communication.
Crazy shot there from Araya. That ball was just too low to really do that.
40.
Takes him to break point.
Oh, wow, great volley.
40 all. First
But even
deuce.
that's better from Broderick. He was ready for the return. He knew what he was going to do.
Yeah,
Araya is a quick server, so it's tough against players that serve quick to be ready every single time. Oof.
Well, Nick's there for Parsons, but Broderick reads them well. See Araya jumping on the net. He's so good at that when he sees a drive coming, the way he closes the net.
Absolutely. Bostrom and Broderick are creating a lot of movement, though. If you see who's moving a lot on the court here, it's that net team of Parsons and Araya. That's to me, that's always a sign of somewhat who's in control of the point, who's having to move the least. Discipline.
You don't have to sound so surprised, Mark.
I was trying. That was my trying to hide it. Just fantastic play.
You see Bostrom under siege there, but he got a good lob up and then a couple swings at the backhand.
He stayed calm. He did great. Absolutely. Oh. And you can see the different spots he's hitting that backhand. He's starting to move it around nicely. That's what's really going to make it effective. Not the power, just the power alone. It's can he move it?
Great spot for
And
Broderick.
out.
That Nick hurt them, popped out. Came another break opportunity. Oh. Ryan misses the volley as Bostrom
Game.
misses the big forehand.
Broderick,
love.
Bostrom, they lead 2 games to love.
Bostrom and Broderick are looking very comfortable at the baseline. They doesn't look like they're being affected by the spins as much. And I think what that comes a lot down to is the inability now that Araya and Parsons have
15
to really set
love.
up their big overheads with the side screens. Because that side screen is such a dangerous spot for if you hit it to Broderick or to Bostrom right now.
15
And that's
all.
truly where you get all the angles to really cut the ball and do that fun stuff.
What makes them so effective too is that the middle is a dangerous spot.
There's
15,
very
30.
few places to hit on that court right now.
And this is the Martin Bostrom we've been looking forward to seeing for the last couple of years. I mean, his skills are all there.
15,
He
40.
hasn't quite putting it together. He looked as sharp as I've ever seen him play. 15-40 chance for Ryan Parsons to get the break back. That's such a smart play from Bostrom there. He's out of position. No reason to force it. Stays back. Start
Absolutely.
over.
Lobs it up, pulls his partner back. Just smart. There's that middle.
Great move from Araya.
Great move.
Oh, I was going to say that was a
Game.
really brave move from Bostrom as he closed in
Araya
on the Parsons
Parsons.
backhand.
And there you see
Broderick
Araya
lead
using that
2
drop
games
shot.
to 1.
If you saw that
Right there.
ball right there, just to bring him forward. He wasn't trying to win the point right off that shot. He was trying to create some movement. So now you see all that happen. He trusts his skills at the net to really pick off and win the game in transition. And that even for club players, you know, the thing you can take away from that is your drop shot doesn't always have to be a ball that wins the point outright. You're trying to bring your opponents forward. That's the goal. You're trying to create that confusion. And if you have the skill set that can then win in that, beat your opponent with their volleys, then that's a good thing. If you don't, then it's not a good shot.
Okay, Parsons to serve 1-2 second set.
Great game.
Parsons jumps on the net, reads the Broderick drive.
15 love.
Starting to see a little shift in the match here, Mark. We'll see if it stays or goes back the other way.
Absolutely. This is
Couple
where you got to
more
watch out
misses.
for those momentum killing misses, right?
Again, there you see Parsons staying back. He helps Araya on the lob that Araya's out of position for, and they take over the net without risking everything, as you put it.
That's it. And he didn't race forward. He strolled up as he saw they had control.
That ball came off the seam.
15
Parsons had a
all.
pretty easy swing at it, and then it bounced completely away from where he thought it was going to be. It's a big game right here.
Great
Wow.
job, Martin, getting out of the way.
Yeah, I wasn't sure why he was coming forward on that ball.
I don't mind Boschum coming forward just to be a presence, but then you have to be disciplined and smart to back up if you have the movement to do it. Such a good lob.
30-15.
That might be where Bostrom has to hold that drive a little bit longer because Arai is waiting for it. So if he can, he's already got Parsons out of position with the first one.
30
If he can then
all.
look like he's going to drive and then hit the lob, I think they can really catch him out of position. I think that's what Broderick talks about, that he says Palmer does so well. He doesn't take the obvious drive. Oh,
30-40.
Boy, that last miss from Araya at 30-15 was a big miss. It's one of the ones you talked about, momentum killing misses.
absolutely.
Oh boy,
40
that's his ball.
all.
They got away with that
First
one.
deuce.
And to me, that's a good swing. That's not a momentum-killing miss at all because Bostrom often makes that ball. It's in his wheelhouse. That's a great swing.
Absolutely. And Araya Parsons were in trouble if that ball goes over the net.
For sure. Parsons strolls up. You can see him hanging back there as the safety net in case they got it past Araya.
See Araya trying to create movement for Bostrom, that hard overhead at the body. This for
And
Broderick.
Still hands.
In.
Parsons' first opportunity for a hold. And there you talked about earlier,
Game.
Mark, was
Love it.
Juan
Araya
Araya hanging
Parsons.
around at the net, waiting
Games
for
are
that
tied,
short ball.
2-all.
Somebody popped it up.
I love it. And I think it's important to note he can do that because of his skill set, right? If you don't have the skill set, you have to bail and go back. But he trusts his volleys at the highest level. And it's a risk, but often there's a reward. That's why he can do it.
And I would say with the possible exception of Johan Durant, his skill set is at the absolute top of the list.
Absolutely.
I know you prefer those South Africans.
We got to stick together. But we're Southern Hemisphere, Argentine over there.
There you go. And it would be remiss if we didn't add Carl Levin to that list.
Great player.
Now you've seen the shift in momentum. Now you're going to see if it continues or if Bostrom Broderick can kind of buckle down again. See, those are
That's
the
a
points-
momentum killing miss.
15
That's very,
love.
very makeable for Mark.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect him to miss that, especially at this point in the match.
Yeah. I think that's just, hours on the court. Is he getting the reps in that he usually would? That's all that is for me. I don't think he
right.
was trying to do anything too much.
Right, pulls out his two-handed backhand. You know he's feeling confident or completely done with the match when he brings that one out. I think they attribute that one to confidence.
Let's hope it's the confidence.
Yeah, they're on the I formation. And they can
30,
beat.
love.
Drew has such a great setup for his overhead. It looks like he's doing the same setup every time, and he has 3 or 4 overheads he hits from there. It's such a good disguise.
And one of the big differences you see in the match is the reset overhead that Bostrom Broderick is hitting right down the middle. There, Ryan kind of cheats over and moves the forehand into
30,
play.
15.
When Parsons and Araya are resetting, they're kind of resetting more at Bostrom, and that's hurting them.
I agree. There's that transition game. Love it. Martin didn't race in. He saw that ball came out too hard. He hung back and had to give up the net. That's just how it is.
That's a dangerous overhead there from Araya. Araya's got this, he likes to hit bad overheads to accelerate the pace of play and he'll bait his opponents into playing faster than they want. Oh, Broderick catches the net cord there.
40, 15.
Which I think is a good strategy. It's similar to Broderick's low lob strategy, right? He's trying to get them to make decisions that they wouldn't usually. I think you just have to make sure, and he seemed like he did it. I would prefer Bostrom to beat me with his forehand than with his backhand. So I don't hate that play.
Broderick.
And there you see Araya miss a lob by a yard.
So, momentum killer.
Yeah, there are two bad mistakes that game from Araya Parsons. As you see Broderick and Bostrom kind of buckle down a little bit.
There's a bottle of water here.
Did they win that game? Did Araya Parsons lose that game? At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. But you kind of feel things shifting. I mean, that's a ball I think Mark makes 9 times out of 10.
Absolutely. And that's, you know, that's where, especially for club players, I think it's important for them to remember your goal's not to not miss. That's not a realistic goal. Your goal is to not make errors that are simple errors or shots that you're going for that aren't really in your skill set. That's your goal. Can you stay within your realm of play? Can you play the shots that you know are automatic or high percentage for you? And can you be disciplined to do it? You're always gonna miss, but you just want it to be good misses. Great coverage.
See, to me, that's a much better reset overhead that you saw there from Araya at Broderick's body, especially when he's deep in the court.
Absolutely.
Because Bostrom is really hurting him.
And he's coming over. The big overhead to open the corner.
Yep. Third panel slam, as Jerry Vion likes to call it.
I like that.
It's just a bad overhead there.
Absolutely.
Not under duress either.
Great change of pace.
That's where Broderick being a lefty is so effective. It's so much easier to dig that low ball out with his forehand than a backhand.
Absolutely.
Again, bad reset overhead.
I think he's doing that on purpose, though. I think he's trying to force that transition, and it doesn't go his way. But I think he
15.
knows what he's doing. I think he's choosing to do that on purpose. Whether it's a good thing or not, I think he's trying to make Barton hit it hard, get him to hit it through them, and then catch him with the hard ball off the back screen. I haven't seen it work yet today, but I think he's purposely doing that.
And again, same thing there. They're just getting hurt by Bostrom on a continuous basis.
Love
There,
30.
Raya misses kind of a flippy forehand that wasn't really going anywhere. Ryan Parsons don't settle down with their overhead, start to hit some more smart shots. They're going to be out of this match in about 15 minutes. Great ball from Bostrom.
Love 40.
Bostrom getting some confidence there.
But again, another short overhead in the court. It opened up Bostrom.
Game. Bostrom, Broderick. They lead 4 games to 2.
Hughes powers up 6-4, 4-3.
So would you say that's a strategic error, Mark? Because it's not an execution error. I think they're very purposely hitting it to Martin's back in that way and forcing transition. You just think it's the wrong strategy?
Well, clearly at this point, down 6-2, 4-2, things are not going well, and you need to change things.
Love
right? I mean, that's
15.
pretty clear. So whether
Yep,
if it is a strategy, it's time for a new
concur.
strategy. If it's not a strategy, then it's time to figure that out, because he's the one doing so much of the damage.
I concur.
Love 30. I'm sorry, 15 off.
There, everything about Bostrom wanted to let that ball go through
15,
except for his
30.
right hand. He was bailing out of the way.
He was trying.
And then the right hand just kind of flicked up at the last second.
Oh, he holds it so well.
So it's going good. That lob, that drive from Parsons hit the net, pops up and hits someone in the chest for a winner. When it's going bad, it just sits there and they play it back to you.
Great lob.
Berger Joy up 6-5, first set.
That sounds like a battle out there.
Good.
Did that catch?
I don't know that it caught. I know that Bostrom called it in.
15-40.
Bostrom
Always,
is very,
always the gentleman.
Yeah, I mean, up match point last year at Nationals, they called the ball out that the umpire would have supported. He called the ball in that the umpire would have supported an out call on.
Game.
Yeah, that was a big game for
Ryan
Ryan Parsons.
There's water over here, guys.
Definitely settled down there,
Bostrom,
played a
Broderick
smarter
lead.
smarter game.
4
They
games
did.
to 3.
They slowed it down a little bit. Didn't take too many wild shots. That was a smart game for that stage. Put the emphasis on Broderick and Bostrom to have to end the point.
The thing about Drew Broderick is he does such a brilliant job of controlling tempo. You have to be willing to play at his tempo because it's virtually impossible to speed him up.
This is true.
And if you do try and speed him up, then you're going to be shaking hands very quickly and you're going to be on the wrong end of it.
This is a big game.
Yep, Parsons to serve, 3-4, second set.
Did Parsons hold serve last time?
Held serve last time.
Okay.
Love 15.
That is just a rocket.
Oh, Parsons with the
15
nick.
all.
It's interesting that Parsons' serve and paddle is such a liability because his tennis serve is huge.
Huh.
Got beautiful motion.
Great volley by Arai that time.
But again, what was that overhead? Parsons almost lost his head. That's the reset overhead right there that they should be hitting more of. Kaler up 4-3. Kaler Rams against Durant Mitchell, first set. Kaler Rams have had a great start to the season, really playing
They
well.
have.
Scott Kaler gives away nothing, and that's just an absolute gift right there.
15-30.
I don't know whether they lost that ball in the sun or what, but just can't afford to make that mistake at this point of the match.
Momentum killer.
The winner of this match will play the winner of the Kaler Rams Durant Mitchell match.
Oh,
No places to hide right now.
absolutely. It's a great draw that is out here at the Dwayne Hayden Invitational.
I would say with the exception of the Rose brothers and of course Kavinsky McNerney, we have the 8 of the best 10 teams in the country here.
Incredible. Shout out to the Midwest, all the Midwest players that would have come out. It would have been great to have all of you.
Tyler Frazier,
Brian Compton.
Broderick moving around the net, cutting balls off.
I like that, especially when it's when it's Parsons' forehand. It's usually not going to be a ball that is as powerful as his backhand, so it's something that you want to look to make him pay for.
Huge moment in the match right here.
Oh, you read that.
See Araya creeping in, looking for that blitz. As soon as Parsons gets a high ball, he's going to blitz.
Oh,
And then Araya picks the wrong one.
40.
just too high to go in. He can take a step or two forward, but he just committed too early there.
15-40. Get off the seam there from Broderick.
Oh, great creating movement. They survive it.
Oh my God!
So there you
Game,
see Araya miss 2
Bostrom,
routine
Broderick.
overheads
They lead
in a 5-point game.
5 games
Just
to 3.
can't afford to make those mistakes.
Absolutely.
Just absolute gift.
And 1-4 splits. That was a tough game.
And Bostrom will serve for the match.
Love.
I'm gonna do this. Yeah. See it? Yeah. Okay, wait, one more. Okay. Yeah.
Great lob from
Great
Bostrom there.
lob. Smart of Parsons to let it bounce, just play from the back.
Interestingly enough, Araya Parsons just not generating a lot of offense from the backcourt.
I don't think this setup is actually ideal against a lefty and righty. It's just the middle's so safe because with the lefty righty combo they can hit overheads either side. I think it really favors when Araya's in the deuce court and Parsons in the ad court. I think it really favors against 2 right-handed players because then Araya can just pick off all those great balls in the middle, and Parsons' backhand is just so dynamic on that side screen. Lefty-righty, I don't think it's ideal. There's that play that you like.
Match ends if the Fuse Powers Grizzly Fever match is going on. We'll take you to that one.
Oh, fantastic.
15 all.
It's the first, as you call a momentum-killing miss we've seen from Bostrom Broderick in several games.
Yeah, they've played a very solid set so far.
Solid match.
Most of their stray errors have been grouped in 1 or 2 games. Overall, they've been very solid. And both playing with a lot of confidence.
Miss volley there from Broderick.
30.
First set to Burish Urdoya, 7 games to 5.
40.
15-40. Volley from Bostrom. That's a great short court forehand from Parsons.
Awesome move.
Rice switching at the net.
Great
what a
moving.
get from Bostrom. Oh,
Game,
Look at all that
Araya,
chaos he
Parsons,
created. It's a great
Bostrom,
play.
Broderick lead 5
the Hughes
games
Powers
to
are
4.
through into the semifinals. They'll play the winner of the Burish Urdoya, the Paver Protsenko match.
Was that a straight set win?
Straight sets. Haven't had a super breaker yet today.
We might get it here, Mark.
Well, these are our last couple opportunities because come in the semis, it's best of 3 sets. So Araya will serve to stay in the match.
That lob wide sticks out in my mind from Bostrom. Just obviously not intentional, but maybe cut it a little too close, and that's those momentum killers.
That was at 15 love serving for the match.
Yep. And obviously he wasn't trying to miss, but those are the times you have to have the highest percentage shots, the biggest margins, give yourself room for error, all that good stuff.
And I think Araya Parsons is hitting the resets. Not where I would hit him, but I'm sitting next to you, proverbially. Oh, Parsons with the lefty overhead. Added apology.
Oh! Love 2 lefty
50.
shots in a row.
Won by a lefty.
You might have got a glimpse of Chris Humphries on the other court and just wanted to throw in that lefty swing.
That was a big sequence right there to give a point away like that. Really unexpected from Araya Parsons at a critical moment in the match.
Yeah, especially as much as they've played together, you wouldn't expect to see that one.
I'm not sure I've ever seen Mark Parsons to lefty overhead. And then to compound the error by kind of apologizing and being out of play.
I love how Bostrom stepping in every time that we see Broderick hit that good lob. Oh, creating movement.
And that's
Love
a
it.
miss that
15
Broderick
all.
miss only happens because he's out of position trying to scramble back. That's a relatively easy ball for him if he's in position.
Absolutely.
Araya drawing him out.
Araya brought him forward. He wasn't able to hit a good enough lob to get back into position, and now he makes the miss. Great play by Araya.
Parsons looking for that nick. Broderick switches back.
Opens the corner, puts the soft one in. I like that combo.
Match hanging in the balance now. A great slash there from
30-15.
Araya. Some positive energy from Parsons takes him to 30-15.
This is a big, big point.
Miscommunication there between Broderick and Bostrom in the backcourt.
We haven't really seen them under much pressure today, so it'll be interesting to see what happens now. Now there is a little bit of pressure. They've been sort of the clear front runners the whole match, so let's see how this new partnership holds up. Wow. Lob so his partner can come back. Smart play by Bostrom.
Oh boy.
Oh!
40.
Oh! As Bostrom kicks the ball
40-15.
into the snow. That was a really nice kick, Mark. I didn't realize he had that much power in the right foot.
He might have a
I
little
got, this is not a brand new one. I could get one
soccer
inside.
background.
And they're not going to get that one.
We'll
Not
get
at
a ball.
9 inches of snow.
This is
Oh,
a used
he was
Wilson.
frustrated with himself there. He read it beautifully. Definitely very makeable.
That's the shot they waited the entire point for.
Yep.
And now we're having a delay to get a ball. Which can't make Araya Parsons very happy.
They definitely have some momentum right now. Oh, I hope we get to see the kick again. Love how he brings him forward.
I think this is the Broderick miss wide, yeah.
That you mentioned.
Coming up a new ball. Okay,
All
right
right.
to serve. 40-15. That's just a brilliant ball from Mariah up the back wire. Broderick hovering at the net. Couple of youth.
They wanted to make sure no one hit that one with the left hand again.
Yeah. I think Mariah wants to make sure Parsons doesn't hit a ball with the left hand again ever. They're trying a lot more overheads over to Broderick.
Yep. They're looking a lot more balanced at the net there, Ryan Parsons. Not as much movement as before. Now we see the baseline team scram a little bit. Ooh.
Mariah's now choosing to go back to the middle after hitting so many early overheads at this point to Broderick.
I got you. I got you. Yup.
Great setups.
Great volley by Araya. This is just really classy paddle, isn't it, Mark?
Absolutely, just so smooth. Everyone's taking the shots that they want.
Making the right decisions,
Yep.
asking the right questions.
Oh. That was a question right there.
Araya put himself in position for that backhand volley, just slid all the way over. What do you think, Mark? How's the point can end?
This move, it's if the movements keep picking up at the net team here, I think they're gonna make an error. I think they need to just stick what they're doing. Wait for the ball to bring players forward, but you know, don't go wild at the net there. Bostrom and Broderick are making them play some tough volleys, so they need to stay disciplined. Araya seems to really be locked in.
Yep, much better with the overheads too.
Yep. Creates movement. I like it.
Great cover by Broderick, catches the nick.
He asked the right question. I like how you say that, Mark. Just testing them, see if they make it. If they do, great. We set it up again.
Bostrom has a good swing. I think that was the right ball to swing at, Mark. He
Araya
just doesn't
Parsons.
execute, and it's 5-all.
Yep.
Games are tied 5-all.
I don't think anything wrong with that swing. I think he just, as you said, did not execute.
And there's
And
that
so-
little drop shot that we've seen from Araya a bunch of times on Broderick that's done a great job of creating movement.
Absolutely, and that's, you know, that's where you can get those misses as we just saw from Bostrom. It's, are your feet
Love
there? Are you
15.
tired? So all these things that Araya's doing and bringing you forward, him and Parsons, it's over the match. It can make a difference. You don't always see it, but it does.
And now you see Araya
Love
Parsons getting some
30.
breaks. Isn't it amazing how the breaks tend to go with the team that has the momentum?
It's wild. That is paddle.
Of course, you have the momentum as long as you hit your next good shot.
15-30.
I would love to see at some point Broderick and Bostrom just chat to each other for a second. They don't seem to. They seem a little flat after such a great match so far.
Yeah, they played a really good point at last game. Just came out second. It's gonna happen. That Araya backhand, that one-handed shot, so much variety.
Yeah, he holds it so well. He can mix at the pace. He can follow it in. It's a real weapon.
I'd say it's the best one-hander in the game, but I'm not sure there's a second one that's even close. Maybe Durant.
Chavinsky has a nice little topspin
Yeah, he
flick
does.
he hits at you.
Yep. And Mark, we've got
Wow.
9 national championships on the court between Araya, Parsons, and Broderick. Question is, does Bostrom believe at this point of the match? At least that's the question Jerry Vian would be asking if she were here.
I'm gonna say yes. I think he's steady. I'm definitely seeing Broderick calling, taking over a little bit at the net, calling more shots. That's a miss that we wouldn't usually see from him, but he's definitely been more vocal and trying to get the ball on his paddle. But I don't have a question that Bostrom believes he can play at this level. I think he's starting to see it for sure.
Boy, 2 missed returns from Araya this game.
Uncharacteristic.
Yes, sir.
Another game point. Break point opportunity. Great backhand from
Game.
Parsons, finds
Araya,
Bostrom's right hip, and they'll
Parsons.
serve for the
They
second
lead
set, which seemed
6 games
almost
to 5.
unimaginable 20 minutes ago, Mark.
And that's such the tricky part about playing against Araya and Parsons. You feel like you have it in the bag because often their body language can be such a roller coaster, but you just can't turn off. They can claw their way back. They can find things out. It's wild.
Okay, Parsons will serve for the second set. Get us into a super. Try and get you a score from the other 2 courts. That's, boy, Parsons with a
Love
bad fault.
15.
Not that they're good ones, but that was out by about 3 feet. Oh,
Love 30.
it's a good move by Araya to come back and talk to him.
Love that.
2 gifts.
Love that little partner support.
Oh, what a
Wow.
volley from Araya.
15-30.
That was incredible. Just stayed up, paddle in front of him, ready to block himself.
That's the reset overhead I'm not fond of.
And it definitely looks like Martin's believing.
Yeah, this is where all the time and effort you put in to get to this level is so important. These guys aren't good because they're just talented. I mean, that's certainly part of it. But they're good because they work at their craft so hard.
Absolutely. And it does take years. That's what we spoke about earlier. Bostrom starting to, see it differently, starting to really play at the level that he should. It takes time. It takes how you see the game. Wow.
Bad
15-40.
reset overhead to Bostrom. That takes us to double break point. That's a ball that just got to go back right at Broderick.
Yeah, they got away with it earlier, but it was on the edge for sure. There's no need to risk that. Smart of a rider, stay back, plays it off the screens, comes forward again.
Remember what we said about Araya? He'll hit his shots at 1-all and 5-all in the
Game.
third. That was a
Broderick,
tight ball there.
Bostrom.
You gotta
Games are
admire
tied
it.
at 6.
But a bad game there from Parsons. 2 faults, a bad overhead, and a missed volley.
Yep.
We'll play a tiebreak for the second set. This will be a 12-point tiebreak, first to 7. Bostrom opens with a fault.
Parsons never seems like his errors,
One.
you know, weigh him
Serving
down too much.
love.
He always seems like he'll make them, but he can come out solid again.
Yep.
I think that's a great, you know, he sort of erases that memory, which it's a real skill.
He's such a great competitor.
Absolutely.
You don't win 4 national championships picking the right partner.
2
That's just
serving
the nick there.
love.
Broderick is beaten badly, which you almost never see.
Yeah, they are looking a little flat-footed. I want to see them get some momentum, yeah.
I
Some
mean,
energy.
Drew was 10 feet away from that ball. He wasn't even looking for the nick.
Yep.
Well, every point right now is absolutely critical.
I like to see Bostrom on his toes there. He seems like he's moving well, stepping in, looking for the ball. You need that positive body language.
Raya with a
Love it.
U there. Not sure why that was a U. There's the drop shot we talked
There
about.
it is. Creates the movement. And now he creates it this way.
Oh, great scramble.
Wow.
Well, I
He
like the
took-
play by Bostrom. I thought he
Serving
surprised
great.
Raya, but Raya had the answer.
He did. I did not see that one coming, so I don't mind that play at all.
Love 3.
Great serve, great serve.
Drew catches the
One.
nick there.
Serving 3.
That's tough on the receiver because you're responsible for both ends. You can't get any help there.
Can't call help.
Great rip from Parsons. First up 2-1 in the second. All right, just stuck his paddle down there and made a magical volley. That was a tough ball off the Broderick spike. And he catches the nick and he beats Drew
4
twice in one
serving
tiebreaker with nicks.
That is interesting.
Gosh, you could see Drew get beaten, Broderick get beaten on nicks twice in 1 year.
I want to
4-1.
see Broderick and Bostrom just chat to each other for a second, or at least give some sort of fist pump or something. They crossed on separate ends. That's not something you want to see from partners, especially at this stage of the game.
You see Parsons, who faulted twice last game, putting in a good serve and taking over the net.
Absolutely. He's so good at forgetting his errors.
For Ryan hit that short drop shot to Broderick. He gets the opportunity again.
It's been
Really
a pretty
been effective.
consistent play of theirs, and I really like it. Footwork's just not looking there for Broderick. He's usually just floating around the court.
Well,
5
there he misses the
serving 1.
backhand. And that wasn't even really a committed swing, Mark. You didn't feel like he really accelerated through that ball.
Yeah, as I said, he's just not moving like he usually does. He's usually so energetic and moving, and he just doesn't seem to have that right now.
Oh, great exchange. Wow. Parsons with a couple of
One
great balls there, and that'll give
6.
them 5 set points. Take us to
Wow.
a super, Mark. Match
We're
is
taking
starting
it to the
live-
super.
Starting to live up to its billing.
Come on.
Conversation to Raya Parsons here, some positive energy. Raya is swinging freely now. Those are a couple of balls you've got to be confident to swing at. But he never really lacks confidence.
That is it.
Judgment, yes. Confidence, no. Broderick catches the seam there, and that's
2
one of the set
serving
points
6.
saved.
Okay.
Oh, what a great
Oh,
shot. Raya.
Way to hold it. And very smart of Bostrom to not race in.
Then he hits the overhead, and
6
Bostrom takes advantage with that
serving
two-hander.
3.
That's 2
That
set
has been
points saved.
that has been a pretty consistent strategic error, as you said, throughout the match, Mark. Going just too many two Boschums backhand when it's not necessary.
Durant is up 6-4, 3-love.
How's Mitchell doing?
I don't know that he's there. I think it's just all Johan. Okay, that's 3 set points gone.
Serving 6.
Things are getting tight.
This has been a roller coaster.
6 serving 4.
3 in a row for Bosch from Broderick.
I heard a little right here from Broderick. I like to hear that vocal. See how he's just starting to be on the toes a little bit more.
I think this is going to be a long point, Mark.
There's some movement.
A couple of great pickups from Broderick there. Such good hands. No, they're switching to the backboard.
Wow.
That's interesting. First time all match.
Why not at 6-4 in the tiebreaker?
And Araya struggles with guys that take away his side wire because Bosch has got such a great backhand there.
Absolutely, that's not a bad switch. Maybe the timing's a bit strange, but
More than a bit.
oh.
Boschum is kind of surviving over there right now.
Yep.
They must have talked about the switch before.
You would think so.
Otherwise,
I
Drew
did
would be
not
like
see them
thinking,
talking too much, though.
Yeah. Great lob there from Boschum. This is just I mean, it's a totally different look, but now you have that middle of the court is more open.
Oh. Oh, there's that transition.
7-4.
Boy, that's just
tiebreaker.
really
Araya
great
Parsons
paddle.
Win
Absolutely terrific, and we'll play
the
a
second set.
super
7-6.
spot in the semis.
Come on. I wonder if we're going to see that switch happen now. If they're going to keep it moving forward, or...
Fusion Sports is your source for high-end custom apparel. Fusion offers pro shop management, tournament favors, corporate branded gear, and youth sports. Fusion is the official apparel and favor supplier of the APTA. Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever seen that before, Mark, where you have a team that hadn't switched the entire match, and then they switch at 6-4 in the breaker.
Bold strategy.
Definitely bold. And they played a great point.
Do you like that formation though for them against Ryan Parsons?
I do not.
I also don't. I think I think that middle just became way too safe.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
And you felt like Araya's overheads were just increasing in confidence as his grunt was getting louder and louder. You can tell how that point's going.
Okay, so Araya will start the breaker. This will be a 10-point super breaker. So first team to 10 have to win by 2. Oh, they'll be switching 1, 5, 9, and so forth.
Here we go.
I think you got to give the edge in the breaker to Araya Parsons. The momentum is clearly with them right now.
They do have the momentum.
Wow.
Love serving 1.
These 10-point breaks are a different ball game, though. That little bit longer. You can have a couple of momentum swings within here.
Yeah, they're marathons.
Absolutely.
Rip there from Araya. Well, that ball barely creeped over the net, that overhead.
Oh,
Parsons with some great volleys there.
yep. Bostrom's
up
definitely getting a little looser in a good way. Looking confident. Neither Broderick nor Bostrom wanted to take the risk of getting caught in that transition.
But Parsons, after missing some volleys early, looks rock solid right now.
Really impressive how mentally he can come back from some of those misses.
I think he just doesn't have much of a memory. I think he probably forgot about them.
I love it.
Yeah, there Araya with too hard an overhead off the back wire.
All.
Yep.
1-all.
Me here. Yeah.
One serving 2.
There you go, a little positive body language.
What a volley from Araya. Paddle is
Great
so
volley.
still.
Bostrom's hit that return at him almost every time.
And had some success with it also.
Yep, he tagged him a few earlier.
Help me. Help me.
Great spots.
They're giving Bostrom a lot of swings with that backhand. Great
Yep.
get off the nick there from Bostrom. Well, that all started with the
One
great get from Bostrom.
Serving 3.
And Broderick ends it with the forehand. Is this momentum swing, Mark?
Be 5 more in the tiebreak. Oh, what a volley from Parsons.
Oh,
Yeah, that was close.
Yo, yo.
smart of Parsons just to drop back.
Yo, yo, yo. Yo.
Just too hard off the back wire.
4 serving 1.
Even the overhead strategy seems to have changed, Mark. They were having so much success with Juan taking a lot of, with Araya taking a lot of overheads, going at Broderick's corner. They caught him a bunch of times with that nick. He wasn't looking as mobile as he usually is, and now all of a sudden that little switch that they did for 1 point, and now they're hitting more back to Bostrom. Interesting.
Just repeat, the winner of this match will play the winner of the Durant-Mitchell Taylor Rams match. Araya with a wild
5
two-hander.
serving 1.
And they got some trouble right now. Long way to go, but not where you
They've
want to
been-
be, obviously.
They've been in it before, so let's see what happens.
Oh, what a get from Parsons.
Love the talking between these two.
There's the blitz. That volley's so much more difficult when you see Raya
2,
moving forward.
serving 5.
Absolutely, just makes you feel that pressure. You look up, great setup.
Ooh, that was a questionable decision for Bostrom Broderick to come in behind that ball.
Broderick just put a little presence there. Bostrom did a pretty good job staying back. I always think one player should come up unless it's just a clear, they're going to
Yes.
drive it back at you.
But not both. They were kind of both moving forward there.
Yeah.
And we see Raya going back to Broderick here, as we talked about. A lot of you-yous from Mariah. I didn't know they had that in his vocabulary. Oh, Bostrom with a good
3,
swing, just got to the
serving
top of the
5.
tape. You like that swing there, Mark, or not?
I think he's a little deep. I don't think that's the one that he's been having success with.
He traveled a long way there, too.
I like him looking for it, but I think he was a little further back than he's usually been. Brings it out. They survive.
Parsons is looking for that nick every time on the waterfall overhead here. And he catches it, as he so often
Wow.
does. And the
5,
momentum has shifted
serving
again, as you
4.
pointed out, Mark.
Wow. I like that they're switching on the same side of the net, though. I think that's always good partner chemistry. If you're switching opposite sides and not chatting, especially in big moments, it's not a great sign.
So, Mark, do you think that Bostrom Broderick will get a match point and they'll switch in the backcourt?
I'm excited. You never know after that last time.
See, those are the misses that haunt Mark
5
Bostrom.
all.
No reason not to put that ball in play. That's better.
Oh!
But just a terrible overhead from Parsons. Put it right in the Bostrom paddle.
6, serving 5, serving
Definitely
5,
unnecessary.
Serving 6, my bad.
When you have the Broderick forehand to reset to, you have multiple options there.
Almost like they were caught by surprise. This is the first point in the breaker. Oop. Okay, they're looking around for the ball. Good thing Araya brought his snowshoes, otherwise he'd never be able to get that ball.
Do we have the long socks?
First time I think I've seen him without the long socks in a
Oh
long
man.
time.
This is a point to be disciplined on.
Coverage on the nick. Oh. That's the overhead I don't understand at all. Had a relatively short overhead, easily could have pounded into Broderick's side wire, instead chose back to go to the Bostrom backhand. They're no longer down 6-2, 4-2, so they're doing something right.
I would imagine that they're thinking that Bostrom can hurt them more, but he's also going to give them more misses.
1 year, Lubau DeRose played Bostrom Bredberg in the final. Wow, what was that,
6
Mark?
all.
1 year, Lubau DeRose played Bostrom Bredberg in the finals at Patterson, and their strategy was to play Bostrom when they were ahead in the game and play Bredberg when they were behind.
I like that. I think that's brilliant, especially when you have a player that can be so hot. You have to ride the momentum.
Drew wanted to hit that ball.
But that's a bad choice. Parsons could definitely let that go through.
7
Well,
There's-
the
serving
problem with
6.
Mariah was jumping in front of him too. They already had a bad overhead and they kind of jumped in front of him.
Yeah, but Parsons has dropped back for the transition. He knows what Araya's going to do. He should 100% let that ball go.
Agreed. 7-6.
Great spot.
7 all.
And that's that variety you see from Parsons' backhand. He hits it so many places. So
Yep.
uncomfortable.
And Broderick looked like he thought the lob was coming. He really disguises everything well.
Oh, the spin
Wow.
just eats Parsons up there.
7 serving 8.
Right, is such a fearless server. Just seen him thrown in so many big serves,
Yeah,
big situations.
fearless player overall.
Some might argue a little fear might have helped this game.
Oh,
Roger catches the lead cord as he beats Parsons on the waterfall, and
7
that takes us to
serving
match
9.
point.
that's one of the times I think he holds it. Like Parsons has been getting away with that a lot today, and I think Broderick holds it for big points. Oh,
Game.
What a crazy decision by Araya on that shot.
huh.
Out of nowhere.
Bostrom, Broderick win the third set. 10-7. Nice match, guys.
Wow. We definitely saw a lot of momentum swings that match, Mark.
I'm just really surprised at the end of the match, too.
It seemed like in big moments there was some switching at the baseline, some interesting choice of overheads there. It was a wow, surprise ending.
But just a great match. A lot of high caliber paddle. I mean, a match befitting a national quarter or semifinal. Really, I thought all four players played well.
Absolutely, that was that could have gone either way, and I'm so happy that Orion Parsons stuck in there and really brought the momentum back. That was a awesome match.
And at the end of the day, I really think the difference in the match was Martin Bostrom. I mean, his backhand from the middle of the court did a lot of damage, really hurt them. And, as we talked about earlier, he obviously believed and hit a bunch of great shots in the big moments.
Absolutely, and that was the same at the Pro Flight match when they did lose, but he was the difference maker. So I think what'll be interesting in their partnership, if they play more tournaments together, is can they sort of get each other out of bad situations mentally? Can they, can Broderick get Bostrom to believe more? Can he get him to take the shots that he wants him to take and be calm on the other ones? And it seemed like Bostrom was good when he somewhat pulled Broderick out of a dark space. There was a couple points in that tiebreaker where Broderick seemed to be in a dark place, wasn't moving so well, had those couple nicks go in his corner which weren't like him. So it seemed like they were able to pull it out mentally, which is a huge thing at this level.
I want to take an opportunity to thank the APTA staff. I mean, it's just remarkable that we're able to make pull these tournaments off in these really trying COVID-19 times. Amin Kaderi, Ann Sheedy, Kieran Kavana, Jackie Cameron, the whole crew, Jerry Vian, obviously, for all their hard work. It's just remarkable that we're able to do this in a safe manner. I mean, the players all have been being tested beforehand, and just kudos to everybody involved.
Absolutely, it's an incredible feat, and I know the players and the fans are also grateful that this can happen and that they can compete and that there's amazing paddle to watch. What an awesome Saturday. This is going to be some great paddle ahead. We just seen some awesome paddle. I hope people are glued to their screens and getting ready for more.
Okay, so we have the other two matches that are still on there are not on stream court, so unfortunately we can't bring them to you. I don't know if we have any opportunity to move any courts if people split. It sounded like the Durant-Mitchell match was almost over. I have not gotten a score on Burish or Doya for a while, so not sure what's happening there. But we'll be back at 2 o'clock with the semifinals. And Mark, pleasure doing the match with you.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. That was a lot of fun.
Okay, we'll see everybody at 2.
All righty.